Wednesday, February 16th. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, the 90s OAV Mahou Tsukai Tai.
Let's do this.
So get this, I was poking around on the internet, and there was an article on Fark about Blockbuster, of all things.
But I thought Blockbuster was out of business.
There are still, apparently, Blockbuster stores in a few places that aren't gone yet.
What is the towns of like only old people?
Well, apparently...
Are they towns where they don't, not only, they only have dial-up internet so no one can get Netflix, and everyone's old so they don't know how to use... You know,
well, here's the thing.
And they don't have one of those red boxes at the grocery store.
That Blockbuster was completely irrelevant. That the brick and mortar Blockbuster did not provide anything that I couldn't just get online from Netflix.
I thought
the
red box at the grocery store put it out.
Actually, the red boxes are doing really shittily now too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they were sort of like it was the combination of the red box and the Netflix.
Oh yeah, I agree. Until this Fark article, I was convinced, like you, that there is no purpose left in the world for a brick and mortar Blockbuster.
Wait, let me guess.
Which was,
all of the extra stock from every other Blockbuster that went out of business all went to this one Blockbuster, which is now a paradise of cheap DVDs and video games for a penny.
Not quite. This was sad to me a little bit, because as a kid, I mean, Blockbuster is the only place, that and Suncoast. I could either go to Suncoast and buy my anime for like a $40 VHS with 2 episodes at a time. Or I could go to Blockbuster and watch like Dune Megalopolis
we
and
had
Armageddon.
FYE, Sam Goody, and Blockbuster.
Yeah. But no, apparently, you know, you can just download movies over the internet, but you know what you can't download?
What?
Cash. Someone fucking robbed one of the last Blockbusters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So?
I guess there's still a purpose for the brick and mortar Blockbuster.
You know what you can't rob? Netflix or Amazon. That's actually like...
I'll bet you could rob an Amazon warehouse.
It would be very difficult. The thing is,
I don't think it would be that
actually,
difficult.
you know, you think about it, right? And you're like, okay, how does Amazon make so much more, you know, how can they charge so much less than Best Buy, right? It's like, well, they don't have the cost of the store and the salespeople and all that, but they do have other costs like servers and these sorts of things, right? But a significant cost to Best Buys and other retail stores is basically insurance and also like basically, you know, stop loss, which is shoplifting. It costs them a lot of money. Amazon has 0 shoplifting compared to pretty much any percentage.
Actually,
they
how do you
save
know?
a ton of money on that.
How do you know? Because most loss is actually employees and not customers. And there are people who work in the Amazon warehouses. You can't tell me that there aren't people just taking boxes of shit out of there.
I don't think people are walking out of the Amazon warehouse with with tons of shit.
I'd be interested, actually. I'm a shareholder. I should email and be like, what are your loss statistics? I really want to know.
You can get the annual report if it's public.
Yeah.
It's probably in. It might not be in there. It might be in there.
I should find out.
I'll be very interested to see about, you know, the theft, if there is any, from Amazon and any other internet
There's
retailer.
gotta be.
I mean, there's some retailers that are also brick and mortar stores, right? Like Midtown Comics will sell you comics online, but you can also go to the store. And I'm sure people steal from Midtown Comics. You know, at least sometimes.
Nah.
I don't know. I don't like shoplifting. That's real stealing. It's not okay. So this would normally be like a Tuesday news because it's gaming related.
You got nothing to say about anime, do you?
No, but it's Pokemon, so it is. I think the anime crowd, the Wednesday listeners, care more than the Tuesday listeners.
They may.
So basically, you know the Pokemon card game?
I know of it. I've played it on occasion.
All right, so they're going to make a thing at the Pokemon website, hiccups. That's an official game, right? It's going to be a Flash game where you can play the Pokemon card game in Flash, right? And there's 3 pre-made decks that you can use. Yeah, 3 pre-constructed decks and 12 virtual trainers you can play against across 3 leagues. So basically, you can go learn how to play the game without spending any money and play it a whole bunch. And what I find, you know, I mean, that's not the greatest thing in the world. It's not like you can use any card in the world and make any deck and play against any of your friends.
But I can say I did enjoy playing a little bit the Magic on the Xbox.
I was going to say, the Magic on the Xbox, right? They try to charge you money for that shit, right? But this is free Flash in the browser and is basically to the same extent as the Magic the Gathering on the Xbox.
Why is Nintendo so smart about some things and so dumb about very similar things?
Well, I think they're all, you know, this is like, they're smarter than Wizards of the Coast in this particular department, but they're not maximum smart. If they were maximum smart, they would say $1 a month, you get a program, or $5 a month even. You get a program, you can play Pokemon card game online against anyone with any card.
No, a much better model, I
Subscription
think,
fee forever.
would be $5 a month to maintain it. And then, you get access to all the basic cards.
Oh yeah, everyone gets one set, but you have to pay $20 to add a new set of cards. But once you add the new set, you can have any card in that set as many.
You could probably get away
times
with forcing them to buy boosters.
People do have done that online.
The way you do
there
it, though.
There are games that do it online.
No, the way you do it with Pokemon is you sell physical boosters that are the only way. So if you buy a physical booster, it has a serial number that gives you a one-shot that gives you an in-game booster. Or you can buy an online-only booster that's like $3 cheaper.
Maybe, but
that's what I would do.
I mean, that's if you wanted to
milk those kids for everything they're worth.
So that would let you milk some kids who are way into it really hard, right? But
usually milking kids puts you in a federal prison. But
I'm just saying, right? Is if you look at, say, the way the comic book people do it, right? Is they'll be like, okay, we got a new event. It's the Crazy War. So they'll have Crazy War issues 1 through 12, and they'll have Crazy War side story, and Spider-Man Crazy War, and Batman Crazy War issues, right? And they just put out so many issues of Crazy War that super collecting nerds have to buy them all, right? But I think if, no one is willing, everyone dips in the toe, right? No one jumps in the pool. I think if you made it, full on like Netflix, you get infinity cards for, these set prices, instead of making people do the collecting thing, that enough extra people would be willing to buy in when the collecting roadblock is not there, that you would actually make more money.
I don't think so. I think they should go one step further.
You would get my money if you did it that
way.
If
they just want to make money,
Scott, you're not getting Scott.
No, if they just want to make money, why are you even thinking about a good game? Just make a Pokemon skin Farmville. Pokeville. That's it. That'll make more money than any effort, any bullshit. Just throw it out there.
Yeah, but this is pretty.
It's Farmville, but it's a little Pokemon icon. You make a little Poke Center, and then you put the Pokemon out in the fields, and you don't even have to skin it. Don't even make the rules different.
Why don't they do that?
I don't know. It would make money.
But they could do that, and they could also do this, and those two things would not conflict with each other, and they would make even more money.
Or they could just make the Pokemon MMO.
They could do all three of those things, the card game, the Farmville, and the MMO, and none of them would conflict with each other, and they would all make maximum money.
No, you go one step further. All the outside things are ways to get items that are exclusive.
Oh, of course. They would
MMO.
all three of those things would cross over. So in the Pokemon MMO, you would find cards you could use to play the card game, and if you win the card game against someone, you get points you can use to upgrade your Farmville, and in your Farmville, you would grow items, and those items would be used in the MMO.
I just pictured a kid growing Pikachu.
And since you can only play each game a little bit each day, now you've got enough games you can occupy your entire living time with spare time with Pokemon games.
So anyway,
and then you can cross it over with the actual GBA game. And okay,
it's interesting to me and kind of sad that we see pretty much every anime movie that comes out in theaters in New York because
every good one,
yeah,
everyone that isn't One Piece number 100.
But even then, there aren't that many anime movies, let alone anime movies that actually are in the U.S.
Well, there are a whole bunch, but they're all, like I said, One Piece number 35,000.
Yeah, there aren't even that many of those.
There's
all
at least
told.
10.
Yeah, that's not that many.
That's a lot. And they come out with one every year. They come out with a Pokemon movie every year. They come out, right? So there's quite a few of those.
I considered watching Pokemon Forever the other day.
So I guess that was number 4?
I guess.
The one we saw was number 3,
The
right?
best way to see anime, it's sad that it's during this, but the New York International Children's Film Festival, which is an awesome event in and of itself. It's just this great kind of film festival in New York, and there's no reason not to go.
Mm-hmm.
But they always show pretty much every current big anime movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd at the anime movies at these things is half kids and half people like me and Scott.
Yeah,
it's the same posse
It's
every
actually
year.
a pretty good crowd, though.
I remember we saw Summer Wars that way.
Summer Wars is on DVD, Blu-ray, I think, today.
We got that great Q&A at the end when all the questions were, why is King Cosmo so awesome? Is King Cosmo your favorite character? When I grow up,
who's
I
your
want to
favorite
be King
character?
Cosmo.
Oh, it's like, who's your favorite character? Grandma. Was I supposed to say King Cosmo?
So this year, the International Children's Film Festival has 2 anime movies, in addition to everything else. We got Welcome to the Space Show and Time of Eve.
All right.
So if anyone lives...
Welcome to the Space Show was shown at the Otakon that we did not go to.
If anyone's in the New York area, I highly recommend this month, well, I guess next month in March, check out the International Children's Film Festival. Yep. And if you like the anime movies, I'd recommend seeing at least one non-anime movie.
Summer Wars is on DVD and Blu-ray starting yesterday.
But anyway, things of the day. What do you got?
Oh, so the new hotness that everybody is all hotness about is obviously MLP FIM.
I enjoy My Little Pony.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll probably do a whole show on it, so I'll refrain from saying anything, you know, too deep about it to ruin that future show. But here is a totally awesome, super great My Little Pony AMV.
It is way well done. I mean, it's to the level of the good old anime music videos that we would show at conventions or at RIT Anime. The ones you used to see in, like, the tournament rounds.
I would like to go to RIT Anime just to show this AMV.
Oh, my God.
It would go over well.
I don't doubt for a second that they have already shown it at RIT Anime.
I hope
There's
so.
no way they didn't.
I hope so.
It's not really an AMV. It's not anime.
Okay.
I guess animated music video?
Yeah.
Animation music video?
Is Spider-Man manga? A Japanese person would say.
No, it is way good.
Or is it, you know, the Spider-Man manga, the one that...
So, in the spirit of AMV things of the day, because Scott stole my thing of the day.
That was my thing of the day.
I have another AMV. I want to go back to the classics because this one's way good, but it's new. And I realized again that a good half, if not more, of the good anime music videos I've ever seen were done by Kevin Caldwell. So I linked to one of my favorite AMVs. It is to Koto-cha, and it is pretty great.
You know, people like Koto-cha, like people don't bring it up at all anymore. But
this used to be a super
Koto-cha
crazy popular anime.
Is a super huge big deal. It's got OAVs, it's got movies, it's got TV, it's got manga, right? If you ask a Japanese person what ultra relax is, there's some good odds they'll know how to do the freaking dance.
If you ask any anime fan in America who went to conventions in the 90s, they'll know Koto-cha.
Right, so this was like a huge deal that like completely disappeared from the mind share of at
nobody
least
talks
of
about
fans
it.
in the US, right? So maybe we'll have to watch it and do a show on it. We gotta bring it back.
Yeah, I mean this show kind of like I don't know, Golden Boy, Battle Athletes.
Those are not quite the same as Koto-cha. They don't have OAVs and TVs and movies
they don't.
and dances that everybody knows and mangas and, you know.
I guess part of it's, you know, the main bit. We're talking about Mahou Tsukai Tai, but I suddenly remembered all the anime that I loved from a long time ago that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
But I guess we should do the meta moment because a lot of conventions are coming up in a hurry. I remember back in the day.
Convention season.
It's weird, but convention season for me used to be May through like early September.
Well, most of the conventions are always in the summer because summer is the traditional convention season because that's when people are not in school, so you can get the most people to show up on a summer weekend, and you won't have weather ruining you and such and such.
Yeah,
so
but I mean,
San Diego Comic-Con, Otakon, you know, these things are all in July, August.
Even I think Anime Central was in May, but it was like May, June, July, August, September was all my cons, and then there was Katsucon like hanging off by itself in February.
Yep.
But now it's like February starts our convention season, and it just goes constantly through forever.
Well, I think what happened, right, is that you had more conventions, you know, and the thing is we go to a wider geographic area of conventions.
We also stopped going to a lot of conventions, though. We hit a peak, I think, earlier, and I don't think we go to more cons now than we used to. I think we just go to more quality cons.
Right, but anyway, the thing is that conventions, as more of them appeared, moved and shuffled to get out of the way, and basically the bigger ones got the times they wanted, and all the other ones had to move to the side, right? So you've got like Anime Boston in April, and you got PAX East in March, and you've got New York Comic Con in October, and you got PAX West in September, and you got Otakon in August, July, and you got Kineticon also in August,
Now, the
July.
reason I bring that up, it's kind of, you know, this is the meta moment. Usually we just do announcements, but this is kind of a very Geeknights scheduling thing. A lot of people inquire asking us to come to conventions. Many of them like Genericon. A lot of cons recently have been asking us to come, and don't feel bad that we don't come. We basically are already at critical mass of very large conventions, let alone small ones.
And part of the reason we don't come is now that we're in New York City, we used to go to more, mostly because we had cars and we had more free time. Now...
Oh, I can just rent a car. That's not in any way the reason I don't go to little cons.
That's the reason. One of the reasons I'm going is because, you know, we're in the city, we don't have cars. So, you know, getting there it is an extra cost. And...
I can just go down and get that zip car if I want it. That's not the reason I don't go.
Yeah, but it's one of the reasons I'm not going.
No.
Is it's an increased cost of transportation, and is it really worth a vacation day and a whole weekend? You know, you got to make it worth my while. You know, and
but Scott, you should do it for the love.
Some conventions make it worth my while because their conventions are so awesome that it's worthwhile, like PAX. And some conventions make it worthwhile because they're so awesome, like Anime Boston. But Anime Boston also gives us money, which I would still go if they did not give us money, but they do because they just do.
But I guess the whole moral of this is just that we've been rebuffing a lot of requests lately. So if anyone's listening and you're wondering why, maybe you told your convention, hey, get Geeknights, and Geeknights said
this
no.
meta moment is turning into the meta month. So let's just get to it. The conventions.
This was the original intent of the meta moment, to get out all the kind of meta
Yeah,
Geeknights
but it's
shit.
also supposed to only be a moment. We don't want to fill the show with too much meta. So the conventions we are going to in very near times are PAX East. We're doing 3 panels. Week after PAX East, ZenkaiCon, we're doing a bunch of panels.
1 anime panel, and then the rest is all gaming, kind of old recycled PAX panels.
And then in April, Anime Boston. Oh,
yes,
shit.
we are confirmed, as always, preferred panelists. We'll be in Anime Boston, bringing the A game.
And those are the near-term conventions. You should go to all our...
Wait, you want to hurry this up? You're all,
What do you mean? You're delaying it right now. We have all kinds of websites and Twitter accounts and all sorts of internet presence for frontrowcrew.com. You should go and check out all our stuffs and our Twitters and everything to participate with us.
You see, I feel like this would be more focused if every show you just did one, like, don't forget the forum, and then some other show would be like, don't forget, we got a Twitter that tweets out the things of the day.
We could do that.
I don't think we need the whole, we've got an internet thing.
All right.
If you're worried about speeding it up, I mean, that's the best way to speed it up.
Yeah, and so you're slowing it down right now again. The book club book is Michio Kaku's Hyperspace.
Yeah, how far are you in that?
I still didn't read anything beyond chapter 1. I got time.
You got time. We could do the show, though. It's an important book.
We'll do it real soon.
So way back when we were at RIT, we would, pick up just a random anime, or if we couldn't pick anything, we'd ask the wizened old veterans of the anime club, hey, what should we watch?
We pretty much just watched everything eventually.
Yeah, I mean, there were literally like 400 or 500 VHS tapes of just fan subs and pro releases and everything. And we got up to 1,000 while we were running the club later with Scott Johnson. But even when we were freshmen, there was more anime than we could ever possibly watch.
Our consumption rate, however, was extremely high. We watched a ton of animes.
Well, the entire front row crew...
Animes that if they came out today, we would not even give a second look.
The entire front row crew, as it was back then, would go to the anime club, and we were all members. So afterward, we'd all go to the library, and each one of us would check out 3 tapes. And then we would watch...
We had a lot of people, so if you had 5 people, you had 15 VHS tapes of anime. Many of those tapes had like 4 episodes on
That's
them.
all of Ava.
That's a lot of tapes.
In fact, I remember that one time on my birthday, I happened to win the raffle, and it was my birthday. So they gave me a gift, and the gift was check out as many tapes as you want.
Yep.
I checked out all of Ava, in fact, that day. But of all the many shows we watched at RIT, one that I kind of forgot about until relatively recently was Mahou Tsukai Tai, Magic Users Club, the OAV.
Yeah.
Now, we're not talking about the TV show or the manga or any of the other stuff related to it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that this show that people really don't know about or you don't even know exists mostly.
I've never seen a cosplay of this. Ever.
If I have, I don't remember it. I might have. Maybe. It's possible.
But anyway, it's just a random show that we watched, one of many, many shows, and when I remembered that it existed a few months ago, I remembered that I enjoyed it, but I didn't remember the plot at all.
I remembered that there were aliens, and there was there were kids at a high school, and they had a club where they were doing magic, and that next door to them was the manga club that was fighting with them by pushing the wall back and forth.
I remembered that very clearly. I knew that the aliens had a big bell.
And I remembered what the main character looked like with like her hair looks like a mop. And I remembered that the main dude is total nerd. And that's all I remembered.
The only other 2 things I remember that are very important is that, one, at some point in the end, Sai, the main girl, has to draw a magic circle, and she kind of fucks it up.
I don't remember that.
Remember?
I mean, I watched it and I saw that, but I don't remember.
That stood out in my mind. I couldn't tell you why. And that the opener is one of my favorite openers to an anime ever.
It's a real good opener with the la, la.
That little bit, you'll all know. Watch the opener. I'll link to it. Just pa, pa. And, it's, I don't know. It's just, the openers is so, like, 90s anime fun. And...
Well, the whole show is 90s anime fun, right? I mean, especially when they're like casting magic spells, like Eto Cafe. It's a lot of the Slayer's kind of humor that goes on.
I guess I did not.
Including, like, you know, tall, big-breasted women who go, oh, 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 oh. It's the whole thing.
Well, I didn't remember much else about the show. I didn't know how the plot was resolved, or even really what the plot was. And
Nope.
I really didn't know if the show would hold up because I have nostalgia for a lot of anime. And, you know, I rewatched Ava not that long ago, and oh, Ava's brilliant, and everyone who says otherwise is stupid. I rewatched Trigun not that long ago. Great show, but not as great as I remembered.
Yep.
You know, it's a mixed bag watching old anime that you used to like. And Mahou Tsukai Tai actually way exceeded my expectations of holding up.
Well, on the one hand, right, it sort of, you know, exceeded and also did not exceed the expectations, right? Because I was expecting, like, all right, it'll be a cute magic girl show, whatever. You know, it'll be average, right? But it was slightly above average, but it was way more perverted than I ever remembered.
See, I would argue that it's not really that perverted.
It's pretty perverted.
Well,
Even in the extreme climax of the final episode where they're resolving the core plot, they're fantasizing with the panty shots and the boobs and such. Even at the very height of every, you know, I mean, at least some shows that have fan service, when you get down to resolving the core plot, they can put the fan service behind them.
The thing is,
and
the fan
focus
service,
on the climax.
Here's a big difference between an old anime like this and modern fan service.
That is true, is that the fan service is a lot less gratuitous.
No, not even what I'm going to say.
Sensei kiss exist.
No. All I'm saying is that the fan service in this show was basically serving the joke that Takeo, the president of the Magic Club, would get distracted and kind of, whenever there's a dangerous situation, he just kind of have this weird fantasy. It always played that one weird song.
Yeah, I guess if you're
it.
unable to think in the meta, then you could say that is an excuse for all the pervertedness. But then is not the moe excuse also valid? Yeah.
No,
okay.
because I also note that the way they did those scenes is that every time there was fan service, they wouldn't really animate it. They'd cut to like a series of kind of blurry shots of like, and it was always the same stupid fantasy. He's always like, oh, they're all gonna suddenly rip their clothes off and adore me for some reason.
That was the clever trick they use, right? Is basically, okay, the characters won't actually get all sexual and naked, but what we'll do is we'll have this one guy, the pervert, will imagine them doing that, so we can draw them in their underwear without the characters, quote, really being in their underwear. But thus it won't be like
no, but the perversion of Takeo is very, I don't know, it fits his character. All that, I guess the characters are all really strong.
We made a perverted character so we could make the anime perverted.
But he's not that perverted. He's actually just
total
a nice
loophole.
He's just a nice normal guy.
He's a relatively nice, not as creepy pervert, but
the thing is,
he's still, the
Scott,
nosebleed joke is not that funny 100 times.
I'm curious why you're fixating on this so much, because there actually wasn't that much fan service.
Because it really stood out to me when I did not remember the show being, like that, and when I watched it again, it just really stood out. Like every single episode, there were like at least 4 or 5, everybody's in their underwear jokes.
Actually, no, there was about one per episode.
Nosebleed explosion. No, there was quite a few per episode.
I don't know what
we'll
show
have
you
to
watch.
Go and count, because there were definitely multiple.
I'm really surprised that stood out to you so much, because what stood out to me was just how funny it was.
It was pretty funny, but it wasn't extremely funny. I mean, other than the pervertedness, the rest of the show, it was like, all right. It was like KOB's, maybe better than KOB's quality. It was like, hey, this plot with the aliens is actually pretty interesting. And, even though each episode is sort of like an episodic kind of, situation, they're actually stringing it together, and the characters are actually good characters. And, there are plenty of funniness events.
I'm just still hung up on your weird kind of fixation on the relatively minimal fan servicey jokes in the show.
I don't know if you've been watching like a whole bunch of crazy moe shows that you think that perversion was minimal.
That level of fan service is barely what I would even use the word perversion for.
Okay, so maybe on some anime otaku scale,
Scott,
it doesn't
I'm talking
register.
about, look at
on a normal person scale, it's pretty high.
Have you watched any popular show like Dexter lately? There's similar levels of fan service.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because you don't watch anything. You have no perspective.
Maybe TV's just getting real perverted, and I've been watching too many old animes lately.
But Scott, if it's getting really perverted, old stuff isn't any more perverted than new stuff.
I mean, I've been watching like 70s stuff, though, so...
A lot of 70s stuff is also kind of perverted.
Yeah, well, the Galaxy Express is not perverted.
I wouldn't use the word perverted. If I had to say anything about the show, I'd call it a heartwarming comedy.
Oh, yeah, it's the perversion is not I'm not saying that the perversion is the majority of the show. I'm saying
I'm
is
not
that
even saying that. It's barely noteworthy, and you're really fixating on it.
It is definitely noteworthy.
I don't think it is.
It is not a majority, but it is at least like 10% of the show.
Dude, the first episode of Blue Seed was way more perverted than Mahou Tsukai Tai.
I'm saying is that on an anime scale, right, it's probably less perverted than a lot of animes, but it is still quite perverted. A significant portion of this show is TNA and underwear and ladies. And, you know, it is. If you cut that out, you would have,
I don't know, listeners,
like 10% less
I'm going to have to go to the listeners on this. You guys watch the show. Because, one, you know, if you want to skip the whole review, the show, I think, is definitely worth watching for any anime
it's
fan.
a short OAV. You can watch it in, like, a night, and it's really entertaining and really funny. And
I'm asking you this, listeners. When you watch it, think to yourself how perverted you think this show is, and compare my feelings to Scott's feelings.
Okay, we'll compare it to Apocalypse Zero. Sure, it's completely clean. It's safe for children.
No, Scott, I'm just saying that I don't think they're going to find it terribly perverted.
I am saying a significant portion of the show.
I think you have
like
a
10%.
I think you're obsessed.
Okay, I'm obsessed. Okay,
so anyway, the plot of Mahou Tsukai Tai is actually pretty straightforward. There's aliens that come down, and they're better than everything we've got. They just wipe out all the armies of the world. And they have this giant bell, and they broadcast that we're here to take over the Earth and invade it.
Yep.
And then they just kind of stick around, and everyone just kind of gets used to them, and they're just there watching everybody, like going down the
And they're weird.
street.
They're like weird robot aliens. They're not like green aliens. They're all robots and mechanical type shit.
And
you know?
independent of this, a guy happens to know magic, and he started a magic users club in his school, like any other club, and it's actually one of the least popular clubs, and no one really cares about it, but they actually just do real magic. And I kind of like how the way the show does the magic is they have these kind of fetishes that they use. You know, the little duck.
Yeah, the aesthetic styling of the magic is pretty cool because they draw symbols. They have the quacking duck on a stick. They ride on a broom.
No,
so
but
it's like they're witches, but they're not witches.
It's very self-consistent, and just like the duck is never explained. None of that stuff is explained. It's just
it is
there.
explained. It's
duck,
explained in episode 4, I think.
Yes, it's explained that, yes, I got the duck from this box.
Yeah, he basically, in his
Scott,
childhood.
Where'd the box come from? Why is it a duck?
There's no, it's an ancient artifact. He found this box in a cliffside cave near the beach.
Yeah.
And that box contained all the magics.
Yeah, but
it
I'm
was
saying
an ancient relic of magic from an ancient
but
civilization
I point out they
that
didn't
left it
explain
there.
anything beyond that. Like, they didn't go into any depth at all. It's just, this is the way it works. A picture of this thing will make magic happen.
There was a magic book that was in the box that told him what to do.
Yeah. But they didn't go into anything beyond that.
Well, I mean, the explanation's in the book. You just haven't read it.
And he decides, Takeo, that he's going to fight the bell. But actually, he only decided this because he wants to impress the girls who,
I
for
don't
whatever
even know,
reason, join the club.
I don't even really understand the whole, like, the motivation to fight the bell. I mean, because it's like in the beginning of the first episode, they're going out to investigate it, right? On their brooms or whatever.
Because the bell keeps messing with them. That's why they wanted to fight it.
Does the bell keep messing with them? It just sort of rolls around town, checking shit out.
Until it sees magic, and then it freaks the fuck out and tries to kill people.
Right, but that was only after they went and started using the magic near it. It wasn't messing with... I think they messed with the bell first before the bell messed with them.
But I point out, not to really spoil, but once you know what the bell was actually after, they were pretty justified in fighting the bell.
Yeah, but I mean, the bell was sort of... I mean, here's the thing, right? That's the trick. That's why the bell is so smart. When, you know, they attack the bell right away. But remember Independence Day, right? It's like, are these aliens peaceful or are they bad? And then, so it's like, well, we don't know yet, so we can't attack yet. Oh shit, they're bad, right? It was like, you don't know until they do something.
Of course, I point out they did not attack it. They simply flew up to it.
Well, no, the opener, the very beginning part of every episode, which is actually really cool because they keep it completely silent because you can't hear anything in space. You know, and then as soon as you can hear it, once the opener gets down into the atmosphere.
It's also got that really not holding up CG from Gonzo of the bell.
But the humans clearly went to war against the bell and lost.
But they point out that when the bell first arrived, in the overture, it says, the bell arrived and announced to the world that it was invading.
Oh, okay. I guess that counts. But it wasn't invading like...
And at the end, the bell was like, yeah, we were here to invade.
Yeah, but it wasn't invading in a militaristic way.
I think it was. I think it just was. It didn't have all the info yet.
It had years and years and years of reconnaissance.
Yes, and it wasn't done.
It wasn't done with his reconnaissance.
What was really cool, and this is one of the...
And if they're doing reconnaissance in plain sight, like, here I am, no spy planes, big black balls rolling down the street.
The plot of the show is basically that this magic users club antagonizes the bell, And it's a cast of 5 just, actually, I'd say really strong, really well-done characters that complement each other well in what is a very heartwarming, funny comedy.
I mean, even the weakest character, the sort of the girl who's, I guess, semi-famous.
Do you know any of their names? Can you name anyone from the show?
I forget them all.
So not Cyanotic, the 2 main characters?
Yeah, that's their names.
Takeo.
Yeah, that's right.
And Abaratsubo.
Are you looking at a list?
Well, I remember them because of every time they did the eye catches, or not the eye catches, but the introduction to the next episode.
The eye catch was Etokafen.
You know, they're like, what's coming up in the next episode? They just scream each other's names over and over again.
Oh, I didn't watch. I never watched. I never watched the coming up in the next episode.
Oh, you should have watched those. They were actually. That was a big part of my anime culture back in the day, is watching that for every episode of every show.
Yeah, I never watched the next episode bits, except for Initial D. Don't miss it.
But like the main characters, Sai and Nanaka, have this good thing going on with each other. They're kind of, I don't know, Sai's one of those cute ditzy girls, but it's not moe ditzy. It's not like modern moe ditzy. It's actually, it comes off as cute and funny.
Yeah, I mean, you can see sort of like some moe precursors present, but they're so small. And it's definitely not full-on moe, so it's like, hey, whatever.
Well, while she has the moe precursors, at the same time, she kicks some ass and takes some names.
Well, clearly. It's not, that's what I'm saying, is the precursors are pretty much just like she falls down a lot.
Plus, I love her as a character. Sai is just so cute.
She's all right.
I enjoyed the way she interacted. That one scene, because she kept bumping into everyone and just being kind of klutzy. And the one time Akane's walking up, and she turns around, and she's like, ah! And they don't collide. And she's like, I did it.
I think the best character though is the
Abaretsubo?
No, well he's all right, but the
Jeff,
the sidekick girl who does
Nanaka,
yeah,
the spunky girl who's like, you should quit this fucking club.
Yeah, because she's like the most level-headed, not weird one.
I would say that Akane, the fashion girl, is equally level-headed. She just doesn't care.
Yeah, kinda. But it's like she just has really strong magic for some reason.
Yeah, it just has kind of a spin to it.
And every time she casts magic, it just spins. I don't know why. Just happens.
Now, it's hard to say if my perception was colored, though, because because we just did a show on dubs and sub, I watched the Sinter Niklas dub instead of the sub. And you know what? Most dubs are bad. This dub is not great, but it is not terrible. I actually do not disrecommend the dub.
I watch the sub.
Nanaka is, of course, Lisa Ortiz. It's all like good, relatively good American voice actors. And surprisingly, the Japanese cast is pretty high powered. They got Iwao Junko to do Akane, famous singer. And Takehito Koyasu.
Oh, shit.
Plays Abaratsubo.
Of course. No one else could.
I do like the one scene where, because part of the plot is that Abaratsubo is totally gay for the main character.
Yep.
And the main character is...
Like, on the one... It's weird because...
It's all stereotypical tropes, yet
no, because he's sort of acting in such a strong, come-on way that you almost think he's just sarcastically fooling around, right?
Kind of a put-on.
Yeah, but he's not actually gay for the main character. But no, he actually is gay for the main character.
I love that scene where they're staying over in the beach house, and he's just laying there, obviously dreaming about something.
Because it's like, if I go to Rim and I'm like, hey, baby, it's
yeah.
People will be like, okay, he's just joking around, right? They might, say, not, but it's joking around. But the thing is, he's like, hey, baby, but he's not joking. He really wants him.
There's that one scene where they're sleeping in the same room together, and he's just kind of
freaking
being
out,
all weird and fantasizing, and the main character's just like, I mustn't fall asleep. I mustn't fall asleep. I mustn't fall asleep.
Yeah, classic sort of.
I guess it's this show, if we have to review it, has a lot of, if you watch it, it is stereotypical 90s anime, straight up, all the tropes, and yet it executes them elegantly and humorously.
And it has really good animation. And
the animation is
good
top
music
fucking notch.
And good, except for the CGs.
Yeah, but the animation
aliens.
is great. And I realized watching a lot of old anime recently, not 70s anime, which doesn't have this so much, except for the mech stuff, but 90s OAVs in particular tend to, one, be way better than their equivalent TV shows.
Yeah.
El Hazard, Tenchi. And two, they have that kind of old world cell animation where there's tons of weird little comedic details all over the place, like little facial expressions background characters make reacting to things, and everything's kind of moving, and there's always stuff going on everywhere. A lot of
like a new type magazine in the trash can in the apartment, or
just lots of really
weird
little
things on the posters around the school.
Like someone in the foreground, they're hitting on each other, or whatever. In the background, the two girls are sharing this look, and kind of whispering to each other. All these little tiny details, little shivers that the main character does every time he's hit on that are all, you wouldn't even notice them.
Yep.
And I don't know, a lot of new crappy anime doesn't have anything like that.
No, they don't even bother with like background details.
It's this
anymore.
weird, specific kind of detail that you really see in these 90s OAVs.
That's the kind of stuff you also see in like manga backgrounds too. That they just they don't not so many people are doing that anymore.
Nah, the show also kind of elegantly like with the duck, like they explain it like you said to a degree, but they didn't really explain it.
They explain it enough.
But there's tons of other things like that are just the world is presented to you, and yet beyond, like it's presented to you as though this is just the way it is, and they don't bother with the fanboy level of explanation. They just give you enough to make the show work.
Yeah.
A lot of modern shows either have the fanboy explanation, like Gunslinger Girl type shows, where they go like, this is the specific bullshit of this specific bullshit moe world.
Oh, they explain every single freaking, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one thing that that makes the show really strong, right, is the alien part, right? Is because if you look at all the old animes, especially the ones that we like or that were really, really well liked from the olden days, right? The one thing a great majority have in common is the central sort of sci-fi mystery, right? Even if it wasn't, some shows were sci-fi shows, right? Such as, say, Votoms or Ava.
Hey, let's go one step further. Even look at fantasy shows like Slayer. Slayer's is goofy comedy, but it has here is the serious backdrop plot that if you just wrote down what that plot was, it's a decent plot for something.
What I'm saying is that, so many of these old shows, if they were sci-fi shows, had a mystery at their core. Some sort of thing that is like to be discovered at the ending. It's like, ooh, what the hell is this mysterious thing that carries us through the show that's always in the background, right? Even Cowboy Bebop has that, right? And almost every, cool show, Macross, everything has a sci-fi mystery. Even shows that are not sci-fi shows, Fancy La La, right? Or, stuff like that, has a sci-fi mystery.
It's not always sci-fi.
No, but a lot of the times it is a sci-fi mystery at the core.
Well, I would pull back. There's two things, what got me into anime, other than the fact that it was crazy, ultra-violent cartoons I'd never seen before, because, I was 8, and I watched Vampire Hunter D, but it was that it was different, and a lot of the old 90s anime was just really sci-fi or really fantasy, really kind of out there, and had these plots, and some of that is lacking from a lot of new stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of new shows, right? If they made Mahou Tsukai Tai today, it would have been the Magic Club
Strike Witches
without the aliens, right? And then it's like, well, that totally ruins the whole thing.
Or they would have done like Darker Than Black, where, all right, here's a plot, but one, the whole show focuses on this plot, and two, the plot is so either they hide it all from you and it's not kind of elegantly done, or you just don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, it's all about, you have these characters, so you can have this character drama, but you also have a sort of epic plot somewhere that, for them to go do something. You get both at once.
Yeah.
If you do just one without the other, it doesn't work so well. You have to do both things.
There's the scenes where, like, Sai's being really cute, practicing riding on a broom, and then she makes a little butt saddle for it because her butt really hurts when she rides the broom. And that's hilarious. And yet, simultaneously, you have, like, the scene where Akane is reading the Belle's mind.
Yep.
That was some deep sci-fi awesome action right there. Like, if you took just that scene, you would not be able to differentiate the show from a dead serious sci-fi drama masterpiece.
Yep.
Just from that scene, extrapolated out. And if you did the comedy, it's the exact same thing for comedy. And the show elegantly blended the two together in a way that many shows, not just anime, are not able to do well.
Well, he's not able to do well recently, right?
There's also a sort of idiosyncratic elegance, like Jeffy or Jeff Kuhn.
Jeff is the best.
I love how, there's kind of a Gandalf the Grey element going on there. And there's also just that's just her cute little thing. Like, it's just hanging like a cell phone charm on her broom.
Yep. No, but there's the, what's it called, right? If you look at more modern shows, right, a lot of the shows today are just the character parts. And the only show, if I try to really think really hard about a recent show that actually has, the character parts and the sci-fi mystery, right? You gotta look at like something like Haruhi has a sci-fi mystery.
Yep, Haruhi
right?
actually, I think, is the best example of a more recent show that gives me the same feelings that a show like Mahou Tsukai Tai does.
Yeah, but, other shows...
I'd even put them in the same genre.
New, yeah, they're definitely in the same genre.
So, you know what?
It's there's a sci-fi mystery,
straight
and
up,
characters.
if you liked Haruhi, you will love Mahou Tsukai Tai and vice versa.
Yeah.
Straight up, without any reservation, I say that.
But try to think of like some other recent animes that have come out, right? And some of them are just, I mean, not too many of them at all, really, are sci-fi or have any kind of action.
Well, what about
going on.
Durr?
Right, okay, so Durr, all right.
Durr.
Right? So that doesn't really have, the mystery of anything. That's pretty much just
Hey,
the characters.
the first season had the mystery of, what's up with the head.
Yeah, but that was what's up with the head was actually one of the characters' dramas. It wasn't really this sort of background, thing that nobody knew what was up.
Well, I guess the way we can sum this all up is that Mahou Tsukai Tai, at least for me, it reminded me of how much I fucking loved anime in the 90s. But it didn't tell me that 90s anime was better specifically. It just taught me that the anime I liked from the 90s still holds up today by and large.
Well, this one.
Yeah, well, Trigun was probably the least holding up relative to what I expected of anything I've watched in recent memory that I had seen back in the day.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you had to go do a lot more rewatching before you can
Plus,
call
remember,
it
a lot of shows that I have seen, I expect not to hold up.
Yeah. Also, I don't remember if I watched or did not watch the Mahou Tsukai Tai TV series.
I've never
back
seen
in
the
day.
TV, or I've only seen the OAV.
I don't even remember. So now I kind of want to go and check out the TV to see, did I see the TV? Did I not see the TV? How much of the TV did I see, if I saw any? Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. How similar is the OAV? Who knows? Mystery.
Well, I mean, it picks up pretty much right where the OAV leaves off.
Really? So the aliens have been vanquished?
There's just the fucking tree.
Oh, really?
And now they got to deal with the tree.
But it's just a tree. What's the problem?
It's blocking out the sun, and the petals are busting everything up in Tokyo.
Really?
Yeah.
That could be all right, maybe. But yeah, that gets kind of interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, I don't want to really I could talk a lot about all my favorite scenes and why I think they're great.
No, we don't need to do that. It's only 6 episodes.
when he's doing the magic show for the manga club on the beach.
That's a good one.
And the magic show's great, and then he whips out the truth teller. But then look at the mark of an elegant show. They do the wah 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 thing with the truth teller.
And of course they bring it back.
But they bring it back in such a subtle and heartwarming and kind of sad way. And it's that the show it blends very well, the drama and the comedy and the sci-fi all together in just a great show.
Yep.
A solid B anime.
Yeah. You should watch this show.
Yeah, pretty much any anime fan should watch this show.
It's only 6 episodes. You
Yeah.
can watch this show. It's not going to kill you.
And if you enjoy it at all, one, watch Haruhi if you liked this. If you liked Haruhi, watch this. Also check out other similar OAVs El Hazard, the original Tenchi OAV.
Yeah, El Hazard, that had the the sci-fi mystery at the core.
So did the original Tenchi OAV.
The original only.
Yeah.
Not any of the others.
No. The Tenchi, every Tenchi other than the original Ryo-Oki OAV, not so great. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not 1, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.